Well, everyone, it's time for us to go and take a look at the iPad 11th generation and compare it against the iPad 7th generation and see which particular iPad is the better one for you. Now, the big thing I can definitely tell you is that in almost every single way, the iPad 11th gen is definitely going to be the better iPad here than the iPad 7. I think the iPad 7 is okay still. I think there's still some capability behind it and there's still some reason to buy it. But I definitely do think it makes a lot more sense to go and buy something like an iPad 11. I genuinely think that one is the better option here. So first of all, if you want to pick up any of these iPads, these newer ones that I would recommend buying this year though, links will be down in the description below. You can get them from there and you can help support the channel at the exact same time. Now, starting off with the outside of both these iPads, the iPad 7th generation, which came out a couple of years ago, on the front side is giving you a 10.2-inch Retina display. So this particular panel on the front, it's a pretty good sized panel. It's, a Retina display. It's 10.2 inches. You're getting the top bezel and the bottom bezel on it. So there's a bigger top bezel and a bottom bezel on it compared to the rest. So it's not really that even. So that was kind of a little bit of a turnoff, but also you're still maintaining a power, like the home button on the front side. So, those home buttons are fairly outdated now. Nowadays, we're kind of stuck on the whole other system. So this thing does kind of show its age from that particular perspective. So that does kind of age this particular device a little bit more than we probably want. But I guess it still looks good. The display itself is actually pretty decent. But the bezel on the top and bottom can be a really big turnoff. And depending on who you are, you might not really want to deal with that. But like I said, it's really not the biggest deal in the world either. With something like the iPad 11th gen, this is a little bit of a different story. This one is definitely going to be giving you an overall better experience as far as I can tell. So with something like the iPad 11th gen, this one's going to be giving you basically a little bit of a better experience. This is giving you an 11-inch liquid retina display. So this thing's display is overall bigger, which is really nice. It's nicer, and it's also going to be giving you way less bezel. So you're not getting these uneven bezels on the top and bottom. It's going to be the same on both. So that right there is going to be a really nice thing going on for this type of device too. So if you're going to go through and pick up this type of device, I genuinely do think this is a very good option for sure. And this in and of itself, it is a really big thing to keep in mind here. So personally for me, if I'm looking at the front side of these two iPads, definitely something like an iPad 11th generation is probably the one that's going to look nicer. But I do think the iPad 7 still does a pretty good job at a majority of things that I'd probably end up throwing at it too. On the bottom, the iPad 7th generation is probably going to be giving you this lightning port. I say probably, it is going to be giving you this lightning port, where the iPad 11 is going to be giving you this USB Type-C port. So that right there could be another one of those things to keep in mind there. Again, it's not the biggest deal in the world, but if you are going to go through and, if you're going to use an iPad, I love having USB Type-C. It is one of my most favorite things ever, and that is a really big advantage for the iPad 11. Also, if you're going to use the iPad 11, this one has the Apple Pencil 1 and Apple Pencil USB Type-C support, whereas on the iPad 7th gen, it only supports Apple Pencil 1. So still totally okay. It's still a really nice thing to basically be able to have there. But that could be one other slight issue that you might be running into with that type of device too. Again, not the biggest deal in the world, but just a small little minor thing you might run into. On the backside, single cameras on both, these solid aluminum backs. And overall, when I'm looking at both, they both hold up fairly well. There's a lot of good capability behind both as well, which is awesome. But I don't really know if there's one that feels more expensive, but definitely the iPad 11 probably is the one that feels more expensive, but it looks better. It's a more modern type of iPad when it comes down to it. So from that side, that kind of covers it up there. Now from the camera side, this is also another very big thing to keep in mind here too. So if you're looking at both these types of iPads, a very big thing you're going to have to remember is that between both of these are going to be giving you a fairly solid experience when it comes down to that camera side. So number one, the iPad 11th gen is giving you a 12 megapixel wide angle camera, which is pretty good. The iPad 7 is going to be giving you this 8 megapixel wide angle camera. So once again, in my personal opinion, right, if I'm about to go through and pick up a phone, it is a really nice thing to basically be able to go through and pick up a phone on or pick up an iPad on the iPad 11 that's going to be giving me that great of an experience. That's something that's really cool. That's something I love. And I generally do appreciate that a lot on something like an iPad 11. On top of that, the iPad 11 is also going to be giving you this landscape 12 megapixel center stage camera. So this right there is another one of those really big things to keep in mind here too, because you're going to be able to go through and pick up a phone or pick up a tablet on the iPad 11 that's essentially going to be giving you that type of capability, right? It's going to be giving you that landscape camera. This is without a doubt another one of those really big features for the iPad 11, because it's going to be giving you an overall better type of camera. You're also getting 4K video on the backside too, which that in and of itself is another really big thing to keep in mind there as well. So if I'm about to go through and pick up an iPad, definitely the iPad 11 Gen is going to be the one that's going to be giving me an overall better experience for the most part as well. So from that side too, that kind of covers it up there as well. Now on top of that, when it comes down to the iPads, and software support, this is also going to be something that you're going to have to remember for the most part too. If you're wanting the iPad that's going to be giving you a longer software supported device, it without a doubt is going to be something like an iPad 11th generation. This one is going to be the one that's going to be giving you an overall better experience here in almost every single way. So if you're wanting the iPad that's going to be giving you a longer lasting software support here, like I said, there's really no exception here, there's no question. The iPad 11 Gen is going to be the one that's going to be giving you a better experience here. So that's kind of one of those big things to keep in mind here. If you're wanting the one that's going to be giving you the longer software experience, not only that, but the one that's going to give you more features is going to be the iPad 11. On top of that, when it comes down to the battery life, performance, all that stuff, it's tough to tell, but definitely the iPad 11, once again, is going to be the one that's going to be giving you the overall better experience here as well. That's going to be the one that if you're trying to get the better software longevity, better battery life, everything like that, definitely the iPad 11 is going to be the one for you from this particular side as well. Now, on top of that, another really big thing here is with the performance. The iPad 7 Gen is going to be giving you this Apple A10 Fusion chip inside of it, where the iPad 11 generation is going to be giving you this Apple A16 chipset inside of it. So this is one of those other big things to keep in mind here too, because if you're wanting either one of these phones, you're going to have to remember that both these iPads are going to be giving you a really good experience, right? Which is always good to have. But if you are wanting the device that's going to be giving you an overall better iPad supported device, definitely the iPad 11 Gen is going to be a faster iPad. It's going to be giving you more RAM as well. And that's the one that I look at as being just a little bit more ahead of something than the iPad 7 generation. So this right there is another one of those really big things to keep in mind here too. Because once again, if you're wanting the device that's going to be giving you an overall better experience here, I would kind of look at something, as something like a, iPad 11 generation as definitely being the better type of device in my personal opinion too. So in terms of that kind of covers up everything from that particular perspective. So when it comes down to it, in my personal opinion, right, I look at something like an iPad 11 generation, and I do think in basically every single way that iPad is the better one here. That one's going to be giving you a better display, USB Type-C, better performance, longer software support, better cameras. Everything across the board is going to be significantly better on the iPad 11 generation. On the 7th generation, I don't really know. I feel like this one it's good, right? It gives me a good experience, but I don't really know if this would be like the first iPad I'd recommend people to buy anymore, right? It's an older iPad. It's definitely showing its age, and it makes a lot more sense to go and buy a different type of iPad when it comes down to it. So that's kind of how I'd see it in my personal opinion. If you have any other thoughts or questions, please let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that will mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.